Hey, this is Paul. Welcome to the Mountain Man Chronicles. I'm going to start a little series over the winter months called Jeep Talk, where we're just cruising around in the Jeep, some little off-road trails nearby the house, and just talk about different topics that come to mind. And this topic is something I just wrote a blog about called About Solo Overlanding. I get a lot of questions when I go out solo overlanding, and as I'm planning out my year journey, I tend to plan out one journey where I go out solo overlanding and I go out and explore. And today's video is going to be about that. I hope you enjoy it.
Welcome to the Mountain Man Chronicles, where the spirit of adventure comes alive. I'm thrilled to have you join our journey into the great outdoors. I'm Paul Piazza. I'm your guide through the wilderness and the storyteller behind the Mountain Man Chronicles. I hope you share in our love and appreciation of what this great world has to offer. Here we live in three simple principles: live, learn, and explore. Live, immerse yourself in the thrill of the moment, whether it be overlanding, exploring unique ghost towns, or simply enjoying the serenity of nature. We believe in living life to its fullest. Learn, cultivate that childlike curiosity. Every adventure is an opportunity to learn and discover something new. From overlanding trips to mastering trail navigation, we're a constant journey of learning and growing. Explore. Be comfortable with the uncomfortable. Venture into the unknown. Our chronicles are a testament to the places we've been and the stories waiting to be untold. Join us as we explore the hidden trails, the pristine lakes, and the mysterious places this great nation has to offer. And of course, what adventure would be successful without proper planning and the right gear? We'll be showcasing some of the tools of the trade along our journeys. I truly hope you enjoy our chronicles and the journey that my wife and I travel through during our overlanding adventures. Thanks for watching.
In this video, I kind of break down solo overlanding into four different categories, which we'll discuss today. And really, what this is really about is just embracing your adventure, being comfortable with the uncomfortable, getting out there by yourself and enjoying it. It could be something as easy as just going solo camping one time, or as you get more experience doing that, more comfortable, you can go out and go on longer journeys and do some exploring on your own. It is exhilarating, I will tell you that, both solo camping and that, and it tests a lot of your own fortitude and what to do, how to get out there, and you start to trust in yourself more and more. So you don't necessarily have to get out and go on a big overlanding journey to go out by yourself. I have friends and family that just go out by themselves and go camp on a lake, go kayaking on a lake, go do something like that, which is fun. Last year's journey, I went out to some unknown areas, and it was really exhilarating. I went up to went to Wyoming. I can't think of the name of the mountain range. I went to Wyoming, and I ended up finding like 3 new campgrounds and really exploring, towing the trailer. Got myself in some tricky spots, but you know, that's all part of it. One of the things I find when I'm out there by myself is your senses become much more aware of things around you, sounds of nature, the smells, everything. When I used to hunt a lot more, I used to go solo hunting after my son went to college, and my oldest son was in the military. We would go out and explore. I would go out and explore, just go out and hunt on my own for 5-6 days or anything. It was really good about it, as long as I had had my GPS with me, which I could signal her to let her know I was still alive and everything was fine. But you find just being out there is like you hear everything. You'll find one of the things unique that just shares some stories is when you're out there by yourself. I don't know what it is about squirrels, but they come out of everywhere when you're out there by yourself. I had squirrels just chase me down. They'd be like in the trees chirping away at me. I wouldn't hear them if I was with other people. But when you're by yourself, they seem to come up and want to just talk to you, and they sit up in a tree and throw nuts at you and stuff like that. Kind of funny. Last year when I was overlanding on my solo trip, I went to Outlaw Cave and camped there, and the same thing happened. I had a bunch of birds just fly by and sit on a tree and just started chatting away with me. So one of the first things you'll find is your senses become heightened. Don't let it get to you. It's just part of being there by yourself. It's kind of, I used to call it getting the noise that when I lived in the city, getting the noise of the city out of your head, right? That you get this background noise from the city. I can't explain it. But when you're out there in your solo adventuring, hunting, whatever you're doing, you're getting that whole heightened awareness, and you'll hear critters, you'll hear sounds that you normally wouldn't hear. And I like that. I definitely like that. When you solo overland, the first thing you have to do when you have to really to make for a successful trip is plan ahead. Some people, by planning ahead, some people go, and I did a lot of this until I met a friend who said, hey, live life a little bit. Don't plan it out in so much detail. What I would say is just plan ahead with your gear, know what kind of environment you're getting into, so you're prepared. So for example, if I know I'm going somewhere where I'm going to be out and there's not going to be a lot of fuel, I'll carry extra fuel on my rack. If I know that I'm going to be out for many days, I'll carry extra water, or I'll carry, if I know the weather's could possibly change, I'll bring heavy clothes and light clothes. So planning ahead doesn't necessarily mean outlining every step of your trail. So for example, I'm going to make a call out to my buddy's page, Overland Calling. He just knew he was going to end up on the West Coast, so he didn't really plan his journey. He just kind of took his journey by offhand. It's a great video series to see. I recommend watching these 2 videos I linked here. And he's the one that said, just embrace the journey. Just plan your trip, plan ahead. Bring tools, bring things like that. So there's a good checklist that I'll include in the links in the description. Definitely recommend checking that out. I'll even put in some gear that I tend to use in the description. And of course, Overland Calling's page. So you don't necessarily have to outline every step of the journey if you're going to go on an overland journey and you want to go somewhere long. If not, you can always find a national forest area and find somewhere to camp out in the middle of nowhere. Or like with my Garmin GPS, I use a Garmin Tread. It'll tell you where campgrounds are. It'll tell you with iOverlander where other campgrounds are. So a lot of times now, I don't even find a campground. I'll just wait till I get there and see what's out there. As long as I know the area I'm going into and it's a national forest, I can camp there. Or if it's a pretty traveled route. A good example is here in South Dakota, around where we live. There's wild campgrounds all over the place that aren't really published, that you can just camp out in Okama. There's one out in the Okama Flats where you're camping literally right on the Missouri River. It's absolutely beautiful. So plan ahead, know the area, but you don't necessarily have to know every exact spot. The second part of being ready for your trip is just planning your gear. Right? I mentioned it earlier when we were talking about planning, but gear. I'm an overpacker. I'm willing to admit that right out of the bat that I do pack a lot. But you don't have to. There goes a pheasant. Whoa, wow. Like 20 pheasants just flew out right in front of us. You'll see that in the video here in a moment. Yeah, a lot of pheasants here in South Dakota. Anyhow, as you're going and you're packing, you can, you don't have to overpack. You can just pack simply and be ready to pack. And what that means is know what gear you have somewhat, know where you're going to be, plan out your meals. Like, for example, when I plan meals, if Raylene knows in advance, she'll cook for me, and that makes it really easy. I don't have to bring a whole bunch of cooking gear. If I'm going with a bunch of people, I'll bring a lot more food. Sometimes 2 ice chests, sometimes 1 ice chest. Like I said, I'm an overpacker, but you don't have to be. You can be a minimalist as well. My son, good example of a minimalist. I mean, he'll just bring a bedroll. And when I was young, I'd do that too. Just bring a bedroll and a sleeping bag. I was good. He sleeps in his little Bronco, and he doesn't bring a whole lot. I, come very prepared when I go, but, also have a lot more experience. So, that really just depends on what you want to do, how much you want to pack, but you don't have to overpack. That also means, despite all the other crap that you hear on the different channels, especially right now during Christmas channels, it seems like everybody's, what gear do you need to go have overlanding? Honestly, you don't need much. You could do it with an old used Coleman stove, a flashlight, and a vehicle. Or if you don't want a vehicle, just park your Subaru or whatever you're driving somewhere and hike in. So what I'm saying is, you don't have to have all the perfect gear in the world. All you have to do is be prepared to go out and adventure. And we just saw another pheasant fly by. So a lot of pheasants out here. The page's motto is be comfortable with the uncomfortable. And one of the things that going out solo does bring is some solitude and some peacefulness. And one of the things I love about it, especially if I'm in the trees, but even I've learned to embrace this in the plains like this, seeing pheasants out here in the wild. When you get out and alone and you're out exploring, it's fun to go with loved ones. Don't get me wrong, and I'm not discounting that at all, because I enjoy going out with my wife and I enjoy going out with my friends. But there are times where I just need to get some clarity in life, I guess, for lack of a better way to put it. So going out on a solo run brings that solitude, that clarity. A lot of times when I go out by myself, I'll just go out with the camera and take a lot of pictures, kind of like today, looking at the pheasants, or I'll stop on a hillside and overlook and get out and walk and do different things. It's that solitude and just that being alone. It once you get past the uncomfortableness of it and become comfortable with it, you'll find that you find this like inner peace. And you find that you're just like, this is like incredible, right? You just find this area within yourself that you're enjoying. That's one of the reasons why I like going out solitude, because a lot of times with life and business, everything's thrown at you constantly. You always have something. Somebody's pulling you somewhere or some way. And when you go out overlanding, you're doing it for yourself and you get grounded. And sometimes you just need to get grounded. So enjoy and embrace the solitude, be comfortable with the uncomfortable, and enjoy it. A cool thing about being out there overlanding or doing whatever you're doing by yourself is you can immerse yourself in nature, right? And one of the things I try to do as I'm out exploring is to just enjoy nature, slow down, enjoy it. The destination is the journey, I think is what I'm trying to say. So if you don't slow down and enjoy the journey, you're just on another road trip. You're flying by. You might as well be on the interstate looking at the gas stations as they fly by. If you slow down and see the things like the pheasants we just saw, see deer out there, enjoy just looking at the beauty of the sky. And the sky's just beautiful right now with the clouds rolling over the Missouri. If you don't take time to enjoy that, you're going to miss the meaning of being on a solo adventure, any adventure for that sakes, but I think even more solo because you're by yourself and you don't have the interference of all the outside noise, the worries of the world, so to speak. So enjoy nature. Well, as the sun sets on this adventure with you on our Jeep talk, remember it's not about the destination, it's about the journey and the experience. Find yourself, ground yourself, do whatever. Just what I recommend is get out there, go explore, live life, learn, and explore. Enjoy the journey. Thanks for participating in mine. Remember to like and subscribe.